So algo trading के बारे में तो हम काफ़ी बात करते हैं, but one of the topics that's picking up a little bit of heat in India is called high frequency trading. So this is a super introductory video trying to introduce the idea of what high frequency trading really means and what are the core nuances around it. This is not a course, there's no code, so just listen in for a few minutes, try and understand where the world is headed. If you want to do something in this space, this video could help you guide. Let's dive in. So what is HFT? By definition, it's, trading super fast. And how fast are we talking about? Really, really fast. We are talking about milliseconds, even less than that if possible. So by definition, it is algorithmic trading executing orders at ultra high frequency. Algorithmic trading, ultra high. दोनों important है. Algorithmic trading means systems do this. It's impossible for human beings to operate at that speed. So that's algorithmic trading. And then ultra high frequency trading is second level नहीं, minute level नहीं, एकदम millisecond level पे trade हो रहा है. And इस तरह के what sort of trades would go? Why is this good? Or why is this, what's the purpose for this? The goal is to profit from very small price discrepancies in the markets. Let's say you have found out that there is some very small difference between NSE and BSE. तो आपने इधर से खरीदा उधर से बेटा. Just giving a random example. Basically looking at different arbitrages, and those could be where this is made. Now this is not for common people, you and me, and it's very difficult for us to get into it given the need of the requirement that this has, but knowing about it can give us a lot of information. Why is HFT growing in India? I think ये भी समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. What is happening is lot of electronic trading and algorithmic adoption is picking up. This loosely is very similar to what has happened in more mature markets like Europe, UK, London Stock Exchange or US Stock Exchange and all of that. And these kind of things can really be seen as a starting point. So what has happened in those markets, what trends were there in those markets, they will start to naturally pick up in developing markets as the technology and electronic infrastructure grows. Regulatory support is also there. SEBI has guidelines for algo trading to provide clarity whether it's good or bad, people like it or not. But the point is that SEBI has taken an interest in this space. And infrastructure growth has also happened significantly in the past few years, right? And when I say few years, it's 7 years. So a lot of investments have happened in having some sort of a co-location infrastructure, co-located infrastructure, and low latency networks which are closer to places like NSE and BSE. So what does this mean? It means that this is my building, बगल वाले road में मेरा दूसरा building होगा. So that's a co-located infrastructure. And why is this significant? Because when you operate at that speed, physical distance to the actual trading place, which is NSE, BSE in this case, matters a lot. Network latency can impact things and there's nothing you can do about it programmatically. So networking का भी ध्यान रखना पड़ता है, and we'll talk about it. Low latency networking infrastructure, as I said, so co-location services are coming up and they are being offered basically to do HFT, to get into algorithmic trades, and these sort of infrastructure servers, they can offer you a lot of advantage for reduced latency. Then you have a lot of communication infrastructure improvement. If you look at the overall infrastructure the country has had, fiber optics are relatively popular and very widespread now in terms of network connectivity. There's a lot of microwave technologies that are also picking up in this space for communication. So overall networking infrastructure, even if you look at mobile networks, right, 2G, 3G, 4G, like if you see how much time it took to reach 3G, and then now we are at 5G, the amount of time is shrinking. And then also data availability, right? It's just not just network, it's also data. And NSE and BSE has, they have like data feeds which you can tap onto to do this. Okay, this is something we have talked about. What is computing infrastructure? What does the technology landscape looks like? This is more from a hardware perspective. So if you're familiar with things like FPGA, which are used by firms for low latency solutions, you can have GPU based computations. You need to get to hardware level like VHDL, Verilog level programming to do FPGA programming. And finally, looking at some sort of a compute infrastructure in the form of GPUs can also help. So the technology infrastructure, fortunately, in terms of hardware is very, very feasible these days. and networking is also. So the time is right. मतलब बहुत सही time is काम करने का. Algorithms are also getting sophisticated. I think machine learning is picking up. You have a lot of statistical arbitrage conversations, and you can learn a lot of stuff using these tools, which is, machine learning, data science, statistical arbitrage techniques, algorithms. And you can get into understanding the market microstructure well, look at derivatives, look at where money can be made. So all of this has given pathway to HFT. It's not like one single thing has, surprisingly just said कि चलो आज HFT करते हैं. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हुआ है. Lot of things have led to it, and this is where the trend is going to be. So in few years, there will be more organizations which will be doing this, and there will be more people who will be pouring money into it. Whether we do it or not, we want to support those organizations like hedge funds or not, is completely different conversation. And in terms of tooling also, right, the barrier to entry is less. Like Python, I keep talking about on this video, on this channel, right? So probably shameless plug, if you're new to my channel, please use, hit the subscribe button, use the description, click the link to join the WhatsApp channel completely free. If you want access to code, join the membership channel. बहुत छोटा creator हो, support करो, like करो मेरे videos को, so that it reaches the right set of people. Moving forward, the data handling protocols in India have also improved. So there's something like a FAST protocol. SEBI also has added regulations. So there's compliance around it, like order to trade ratio and algo registration processes are coming up. So data handling and optimizing around this space is also happening, and it's shaping up. It's not like it's completely there. हो रहा है अभी. What is the regulatory landscape looking like? I think very standard. You understand कि SEBI has a lot of stuff that they are thinking about it. So they want to make sure that whomsoever gets into HFT, they have the adherence to algo trading regulations as a mandatory requirement. And then, they'll do monitoring, they'll do some risk assessment, they'll kind of understand the needs and things like that. What can you do about this space? You can use simple technologies like Python to build some sort of a compliance monitoring. Some simple practical steps, थोड़ा basics समझना पड़ेगा, I think, before you get into tools. So Indian finance ecosystem समझो, technology समझो, what programming language you need. This is not one person's job. If you're trying to set up your own desk, you need some cool quant developers, C++, Java, Python, all of that. You need platforms to run simulations or brokers with APIs. And you need access to a lot of historical data. So all of this is costly affair. And then there are also challenges, right? As I said, all of this is costly affair. So infrastructure cost is severely high. Regulatory oversight is kind of, it's both good and bad, I think. It's starting to pick up, but it's a lot unclear in certain areas. So abhi difficult to comment. Market liquidity also in certain segments are challenging. So you can definitely start small or join a trading firm जहाँ पे थोड़े percentage लेके आपको वो HFT trade करने दे देते हैं, and they are bringing the infrastructure if you want to get into it, if you have built the algorithm, and just get into that habit of doing it. It will not happen quickly, but it can happen. But it's very unlikely that as a traditional single standalone investor, unless you're 100% full-time trader who has a lot of winning strategies, who has mastered derivatives, arbitrage, and has algorithms that can exploit that time arbitrage, only then this makes sense. And what is the path to mastery? I don't think there's anything like path to mastery, to be very honest about it. But education is important. One of my goals is to make sure I teach technology to people in markets, because technology has influenced a lot of different sectors. Fintech has boomed up, but unfortunately, access to technology in this space is very limited. And people have a lot of tools. They have made a lot of businesses selling these tools to people, making money. But ये बहुत simple चीज़ है. If you are able to put some time, watch some videos, follow a structured part, a lot of money you can save. Also, it gives you power that you understand your data. You have the leverage to, make your own money and all that. So education is important. Experience in this space is a little bit important, like actually not a little bit, a lot important. And then you should also see how can a community be built around it, right? If you, for instance, go to a cafe where there's a trading cafe, you can build a community and learn from them. Look for good mentors in this space. And finally, some resources. I would say there are a lot of books in India, the algorithmic trading and DMA. I think Barry Johnson has written that book, Algorithmic Trading in India. Saurav Ghosh has done a book. I've talked about a lot of books, like literally shown my entire bookshelf in one of the previous videos. Check that out. Quant does a lot of courses which are really great. NSC has a lot of algo trading certifications that you can look at. Most platforms are providing APIs like Zerodha, Fires, and Upstocks. While none of them can take you to the level of an HFT infrastructure, I think you can start there and see how things shape up. And finally, if you are looking for frameworks, I keep talking about it in my channel or videos, dekh lo. Thank you for listening to me. That's Akash Sharma. Bye-bye.